Hey guys, happy Sunday to you. I hope all is well. We are cruising through this semester already. Now I say that every semester because on this side of it, sorry, my buddy's relentless. He's an Eagles fan and he just won't stop sending me texts. I try to tell him I'm making videos. He doesn't care. So I think he put them into overdrive. So if I keep reaching for the phone, that's why. That said, I'll do my best to ignore them. We're already in week 6. And so, yeah, man, on this side of it, it just goes like this every semester. On your side, maybe not as fast. I remember it felt like forever sometimes. But on this side, it really does fly by. So this week, we have assessment and diagnosis in chapter 5 here. And you have a DB. This DB will need to be done like your other DBs in 1300 with the 200 to 250 words done on Thursdays. Followed by 2 peer responses with 100 to 150 words done by Saturday. You'll need to use your textbook as a resource. You need 2 resources for the original post and 1 resource for your follow-up to your peers. Use your textbook as one of your resources. You can use it as your follow-up to your peers as well. You welcome. I'm sure the DSM will come up in here. I have cited the DSM for you. So it's in your resources in Blackboard. You might want to use that as a resource. You might want to use a textbook from another course as a resource. Totally cool with me. But just know that that's there. And so you wouldn't cite the DSM as DSM. It would be American Psychological Association, I believe, is how it's cited, but I'd have to look. But anyway, it's all there. I've done the work for you. All you have to do is really look at that. So which brings me to this. If you have any issues with the APA or with anything, reach out to me. Let's schedule a Zoom. I've already done that with 1 or 2 of you. And it seemed to be helpful. So I'm happy to walk you through. If you ever have any questions or any issues or any concerns, please reach out to me. I'm happy to schedule a video session with you to walk you through. So assessment and diagnosis is very important as an LCDC, right? Here's what I want you to try to keep in mind going in here is don't do too much, right? Meaning you can always add to a diagnosis or a treatment plan, and you can take away as well, but it's much easier to add than take away. You have to justify both, right? But just know that you can add or take away from either of a treatment plan. You can add a diagnosis, you can remove a diagnosis. You just have to justify why. But there are so many misdiagnoses out there. We try to do too much sometimes, and I get that every semester. You're going to come across your case of owl here for your treatment plan, and then there's another one that we do where it just becomes where we're trying to do too much, right? Given certain information. So remember, at this stage, less is better, right? You don't want to add 17 treatment assessments and diagnoses and that kind of thing, right? Your diagnosis as an LCDC will always be a substance-related issue, a substance use disorder of some kind. Right? Now, substance use disorder is the umbrella that all these others fall in, right? I think there's 10, maybe 11, I forget exactly, disorders under substance use disorder. Substance use disorder will not be your diagnosis. It will be alcohol use disorder, cannabis use disorder, stimulant use disorder, anxiolytic disorder. There's lots of those separate diagnoses, 10 or 11, like I said, that fall under that category of substance use disorders. So yeah, that said, you'll have that DB this week, and now this is getting down to the wire with this treatment plan. I hope you guys are looking ahead. I'm going to schedule a time. Let's see, I'm looking here, maybe you have spring. So next week is week 7. You have treatment planning and treatment settings. So sometimes in the week 7 or 8, I'm going to do maybe week 8. I'll do a Zoom call with everybody. If you want to join. We'll talk about the treatment plan ahead of time, but it might be helpful for you to do that. So yeah, next week you have treatment plan and a treatment settings, week 6. And then you have a quiz due on the last 3 chapters. The following week, week 8, you talk about individual treatment. Chapter 7, then you have a DB on that. Then you have spring break, and then your treatment plan is due along with reading group counseling. Now, in chapter 7, I want you to take note here. You discuss, it's very brief, but you do discuss cognitive behavioral therapy and motivational interviewing. Those are your 2 choices for your final paper, right? Well, your final paper is a reflection paper, but your theories paper, that's also worth a quarter of your grade. So you have these 2 assignments that are worth half your grade total, a quarter each: the treatment plan and the theories paper. Theories paper is not long, it's 2 to 3 pages like the other class. It's not that serious. This is just an intro to either of those theoretical models, because that's what you're going to use as an LCDC. You're probably already using them now, whether you realize it or not, right? The idea is you learn to use them with intention. So that said, this week, assessment and diagnosis. Remember, less is more here right now, because you can always add, right? You just don't want to start getting into, while it's important. We read in 1300 about co-occurring disorders. Look, the majority of my clients have some sort of co-occurring disorder. I would say 75% maybe. It's important you know about those. It's important you recognize those. It's not our job to diagnose them as LCDCs, right? No, we should be able to diagnose them, but we don't technically diagnose them. That's where we refer out to a therapist or to a supervisor or something. But remember, our role as LCDCs, as chemical dependency counselors, is as it relates to the substance use disorder. So does depression affect a substance use disorder? Absolutely. Does an anxiety disorder, or even just anxiety, even if it's not a disorder, does it affect a substance use disorder? Absolutely. Right? Does bipolar disorder? You get the idea, on and on and on, right? So absolutely, they we have to be able to recognize them and know the characteristics of them. But we also need to know that that's not really our place to diagnose them. So keep that in mind. Don't try to do too much here with these things, but we're really getting close to building on that actual treatment plan. So sometime, like I said, in week 7 or 8, I'll figure that out as soon as I post this video, and I'll put the date up there. My hope is it's enough time for you to plan to join us. And what we'll do is we'll just do a quick Zoom or Teams or whatever meeting, and yeah, it'll be as long as it takes. There's only a couple of us, so it shouldn't, we'll answer any questions, go over the treatment plan and how that looks. Trust me, it's a quarter of your grade. It might be beneficial for you to do that. But that said, that's up to you. It won't be mandatory. Guys, as always, have a great week. You kind of have a rundown as to what's ahead in this course, and be thinking about that treatment plan, because it's coming quick. And then be paying attention next week. Well, it's 2 weeks, so we'll talk about that then. I'll put something up for a date. It'll be an evening time. So we'll do that, and have a great week, and we'll talk soon.